you saying that you wouldn't want to get onto Isla Sorna and study them if you had the chance?
No force on earth or heaven could get me on that island.
Oh, you're gonna regret saying that. Now, considering I only did the 20th anniversary 2 years ago, this review is only going to be a refresher, as I think that review is still somewhat fresh in people's memories. And clearly I am a glutton for punishment. A fact I'm now regretting. There are clever ideas within the story, such as the illegal cloning of the Spinosaurus that was not on InGen's list that was created as part of the Gene Guard Act that had been created after the existence of recreated dinosaurs had been brought to the public's attention, courtesy of the Bull Tyrannosaurus rampage in San Diego in '97. These ideas, along with the evolution of the Velociraptors, could have been explored more had the director and the writers refined the script that they rewrote 5 weeks before shooting and would work the script around the dinosaurs that had been made from Stan Winston's studio. Those are just crimson red flags right there, knowing that the movie is not going to fare well. Had the script been rewritten closer to a year before shooting, then that would have been more plausible. I think the only other thing that this movie did well was seeing where Alan Grant was in life after narrowly escaping Jurassic Park via the skin of his teeth 8 years prior. He seems to have a sober mentality similar to that of Malcolm's. The only difference is that Grant seemed to at least get some more questions answered from his trip to Site B, confirming his suspicions that the raptors could vocalize with each other. And I've said this so often that I must be blue in the face about this. Killing off the T-Rex was just a faux pas that the studio should never have done. Now, fortunately, this was not Rexy, the Bull Rex, nor its male infant. It's just another adolescent male that hadn't quite reached full growth. And the fact that it was killed within 27 minutes, oh yeah, trust me, and not even reaching the 30-minute mark just felt shocking and insulting considering the Rex was the franchise's MVP. So again, there was a reason there wasn't another Jurassic Park movie for 14 years after this. As Awesome Lydia said.
But when I saw it later, it's like, something doesn't feel right about this. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the performances were good in that movie. It's just, this was like, this is at bottom tier levels of like quality. I mean, not with the effects and all that, but with the somewhat subpar acting, not from certain individuals, but we know who we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But other than that, this was like, compared to the other ones, it's like, to the first two movies, that's definitely bottom tier. Like, it, over time, it got aggressively worse. I mean, first movie, you can't top that one. Mm-hmm. Second movie was fine for what it was. It wasn't terrible. Mm-hmm. Then the quality drops here. Like, it falls off a cliff.
Madam President has spoken. Sam and a few other cast members at the very least make the movie somewhat watchable. He does the performance well as a man not too pleased that he was deceived to get on an island with live dinosaurs again. Who wouldn't? He plays his part well as a determined father and helps to give the movie heart. Honestly, every time I come back to this movie, her performance doesn't get any better. When you have less range in your performance than a tree stump, you might want to throw in the towel.
They could gift me human pineapple pizza, and I would still refuse to be in the same film as Téa Leoni. Have you seen her in Bad Boys? For crying out loud!
Is she as bad as Alicia Silverstone from Batman and Robin?
Mention that movie again, and you won't get any T-Rex T-bone steaks!
Much like Joseph Mazzallo, Ariana Richards, and Vanessa Lee Chester before him, he acts as the child audience participation, and he's actually likable. He's quick, resourceful, and surprisingly fearless as Eric, and looks to use practical thinking to survive on Isla Sorna. She is criminally underused in this sequel. It's interesting to see her and Alan interact with each other, knowing that Alan and Ellie are not together at this point, and yet she plays it well as someone who would always do favors for him, even though he forgets to ask.
I just want to say, if you ever need help with anything, sometimes you forget to ask. So you can call me. Anything, anytime.
This is one of the very few areas where the movie shined. It's been well established that the special and visual effects of the Jurassic Park movies are what helped to propel the movies forward and raising the standards on the effects for any movie going forward since 1993. For it was Jurassic Park that inspired George Lucas to do the Star Wars prequels. In an ironic twist, the Spinosaurus animatronic actually broke the head of the T-Rex clean off, as the animatronic was just that strong. Art imitating life? Considering it had been 8 years since the original, the visual effects was looking more photoreal, especially in the scenes with the Velociraptors where the CG animals are edited in post-production next to the animatronic counterparts, and you have a very hard time telling the difference. Other than the fact running dinosaurs would be CG and stationary props would be operated off camera. Another area where it hits the right notes. Yeah, I know what I said. John Williams' theme is intact and composer Don Davis does well to keep the tone of what had been established before. The music has always been as much a character in the movies as the human characters and the dinosaurs themselves. When you hear these specific pieces, you know you're watching a Jurassic Park movie. As it's been documented, this was the least profitable of the original trilogy, and when you look back at the brass taxes, it really shows. Sam Neill has defended the movie on multiple occasions. He recognizes there are faults with it, especially with the rushed ending. I've been adamant, had the movie's runtime been extended from 92 minutes to closer to 2 hours, then it would have allowed segments to breathe and also filling gaps where they could have explored some of the interesting ideas that were briefly touched upon before moving as briskly as they did. Considering that it only took $368.8 million against a budget of $93 million, just shows that this was not what people wanted when you realize that the original took $1 billion in 1993, and The Lost World, despite making less money, still took $600 million. Also, today, after 22 years of inflation, Jurassic Park 3's take-home profit would be $629 million. There would not be another Jurassic Park movie for 14 years before 2015's Jurassic World, beginning the Jurassic World trilogy. As I've said a few times before, dependent on whom you speak to, the movie has been enjoyed on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and now 4K. I'm MJ Knight, and this was Jurassic Park 3.
"14 years after the rescue mission on Site B, we time-skip to see John Heyman's dream come true as Jurassic World rises over the ruins of Jurassic Park. Real Features returns to the 2015 sequel, beginning the Jurassic World trilogy, only on Real Features.